Absolutely. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this as well. I mean, I happen to be the holder of many interesting secrets about hip-hop just because I was there. I was really more a part of the downtown scene. You know, the downtown scene was about punk rock and electronic music and new wave music, new wave fashion, downtown parties, downtown clubs. It was a scene. It was a very social scene, but it was heavily involved in the art scene downtown: painting, sculpture, experimental music, etc. And I was a big part of that world, and I was actually in a band that made noise music and experimental music with the painter Jean-Michel Basquiat. I assume some of your listeners know who that is. Jean and I had a group called Gray. Anyway, a lot of people downtown, well, myself, Fab Five Freddy was also part of the downtown scene, and myself and Freddie, we were the two people who were creating a bridge between the downtown scene and the uptown hip-hop scene. And as a matter of fact, my club, Negril, was downtown, and so when I brought Bambaataa, Kool Herc, Red Alert, Jazzy J, Rocksteady Crew, etc., when I brought them downtown to my club to perform, the audience, for the most part, was predominantly downtown, artists and club goers. And so even as early as the late 70s and early 80s, downtown kids who primarily, new wavers, punk rockers, had a lot of appreciation for what would become hip-hop, and there was a lot of hybridization, a lot of collaboration together between the two scenes. Not a lot of people from downtown went uptown. I would do that quite often, so would Freddie. Yeah, that's what we would do. We'd go uptown and make connections, find talent, etc., bring it downtown. And not a lot of people from uptown came downtown, but there was a certain amount of the audience from uptown coming downtown, and a certain amount of the audience from downtown going uptown, but we certainly brought the uptown talent and uptown artists downtown to perform downtown. And let me tell you something, if it wasn't for the downtown punk rock new wave scene, hip-hop would not have happened. Hip-hop, and what we understand as hip-hop, the downtown throwdown, the uptown block parties, throwdowns, in the streets, in the parks, that scene was going strong in the early and mid-70s. By the late 70s, it was kind of starting to die out. The whole movement, you can ask Jazzy J this. I'm making a documentary now where Jazzy talks about this. The whole movement had the potential of dying out. They were all looking at it like, well, we had a nice little run. We were performing for the neighborhood kids. Everybody else was interested in the Gap Band and Luther Vandross and all the Jerry Curl music. We had our little moment. We were playing like old school funk and soul songs, like Just Begun by and the Apache and different like novelty soul and R&B songs, and it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end, and it took the downtown kids like myself to realize that this was a really exciting movement, and bringing them downtown where the media and the press could discover them and write about them, and then bring them to the press like the Village Voice, bring them to the press of the local New York press, and then to the larger national press, and then even to an international exposure. It took the downtown scene and people like myself and Fab Five Freddy to make that happen. And if it wasn't for the downtown scene, hip-hop would not have happened, I promise you.
Wow, that's definitely a scary thought. What would the world be like today without hip-hop? Just hearing you say that just makes me feel like, man, that would have been a scary moment. But
well, it just illuminates the importance of people from all different worlds mixing together and collaborating together, because you never know what you're going to come up with afterward. Nobody in the hip-hop world, even as late as 82 or something, when I was writing in the East Village Eye about hip-hop, interviewing Bambaataa, when we would talk about the future of hip-hop, even Bambaataa, no one thought it would be anywhere near this big. We thought it might be, like a new form of R&B. It would, a bunch of people would make some money, and then something else would come along. No one ever saw hip-hop becoming a world-dominant culture. No one saw that.
Right. Even kids in foreign countries who don't speak English, they probably know a Snoop Dogg record.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hip-hop is massive around the world. Around the world, everywhere. China, Brazil, Poland, South Africa, Kenya, anywhere you go in the world, any country you go in the world now, there are kids breakdancing, there are kids emceeing and rapping, there are kids spitting rhymes, there are kids trying to mix turntables, there are kids making graffiti. Certainly, that's been going on for I guarantee you there's nowhere in the world, even if you went back 10 years ago, that wouldn't have all the elements of hip-hop going strong with the working class kids of that country.